Right here, you can't see my chin because it's tucked right under here, right? This is like a turtle shell, you got to think of it. You don't want to come in with a jab like this, all right? Coming in sideways and the impact hitting your wrist there, that's going to cause a lot of stress on your wrist. All right, morning everyone. I hope you're doing well today. Thank you for tuning in. Always appreciate it. Shout out to all the subscribers. Gratitude to anybody new. Welcome along. Big thanks. This video, part 3, work that jab. Shout out to anybody that watched the first 2. I'm basically just out in the park, out in whatever field I can find that seems adequate, talking about the jab, trying to drum home how important this punch is. I'm just gonna ramble a little bit, fire off a few jabs, boom, and then explain, what the jab does in a little bit more deeper fashion. Show you a few nuances of how to get a really good jab and what you need to do to get a good jab in terms of practicing, keeping the rhythm going, how important it is to implement it in your actual game, like your psychology, right? You have to understand that this is the most important punch and you need to not neglect it because a lot of boxers neglect the jab and it makes them not as good, usually. Not always, but usually. When the jab comes, a lot of other good work comes with that, You can do so many things with it. I've gone over that in part 1 and 2. I'll touch on it a little bit and, this is for beginners, this channel, right? But sometimes I'll drift off into much higher levels, but I will always make loads of videos about the jab as I have, make loads of videos about footwork as I have, drill home the fact you guys need a good stance, okay? Usually, not usually, always, right? A good stance, a good jab, and good footwork, keeping your hands up, right? Like this is a great place to start as a boxer. I'm just moving around here, hands up, boom, like that, right? Box, stick and move, yeah? Boom, but it starts with the jab. You really can't do that without the jab. So work that jab. And in today's video, as I said, just gonna ramble a little bit. We're gonna get some different camera angles. Boom. I just made a video on the snap of a punch. That's basically pertaining to straight punches typically. I completely forgot to answer the question about how to get a snap on non-straight punches. I'll do my best to do it at the end of this video, but for now, let's work that jab and get into the nuances. Yeah, it's the most important punch. You should throw it somewhere between 700 and 1,000 times a day, right? When you throw it, boom, keep it straight, a straight jab, bam, get that snap on it, right? I just made a video on the snap of a punch. Very important for a punch like the jab or the cross, right? Because it goes into great detail about how to achieve that impact and how to get that snap, how to think about it and how to practice for it. This is gonna be similar. So, moving around, keeping this punch straight, right? Boom. When you come in with a bent arm like that, what you don't wanna do, you don't wanna come in with a jab like this, all right? Coming in sideways and the impact hitting your wrist there, that's gonna cause a lot of stress on your wrist. It's not gonna get very good impact because the bones aren't connected right behind it. If I'm here like this, boom, right? Knuckles are down, bam, boom, 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 straight, boom, impact right there, boom. Hands on my cheek, elbows right here, bah, 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 bah. That's how you work that jab, right? Right here. And the elbows and the rib cage, as I always say, are part of a good stance. And having that is a good place to start because that will do that, right? When you go from here, you'll feel it on your rib cage to here. Boom, work that jab. Boom, boom, boom. Right, one more little nuance about a jab, and this is quite high level. But as I say, when you get to the end part of this video, it starts to tap into that. And if you're still here as a beginner, salute to you. Right, if I'm throwing a jab, if you see where my chin is, it's very protected, as opposed to throwing a jab, leaving my chin up in here. So let me show you, zoom in here. Right here, you can't see my chin because it's tucked right under here, right? This is like a turtle shell, you gotta think of it. And then right here, okay? An impenetrable turtle shell. So boom, as opposed to jabbing like this with the chin in the air, which, you can get away with sometimes, but I'm here, boom, 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 yeah, bah, snap it. You don't have to throw it so fast to start off with, right? You're looking for consistency. this is actually very important, because I always say this, and I will always say this, is I would sooner rather you, the beginner, work on consistency, good technique, right? Rather than speed and power. Yeah, they're gonna come and they're important. I'm not saying they're not. But what's more important is getting your punch consistent, right? I always refer it to a driving range, or when you're maybe in a baseball, maybe you're doing something for the first time, you haven't done it in a while, and your urge is to do it as hard as you can. Well, you might get one or two that fly off, you know, the golfing range, bing, like that, and they go miles, and it feels good. And then the other 8, they go off to the side, or the technique or the accuracy is not very good. Think about that like with the jab, right? You want, bah, bah, boom, 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 boom. You want that kind of consistency, rather than 1 or 2 of those and 8 bent, or technique a bit deficient. You know what I mean? Anyway, work that jab. Understand it's your greatest tool, right? It's your greatest weapon, in the sense that, yeah, you've got bigger punches and harder punches like your right hand, your cross, your uppercuts, your hooks, but you often can't land those without the jab, right? And that's one of the many reasons why a jab's so important. You can control somebody with a jab, you can score points with it, you can hurt somebody, you know, you can put a bit more energy into it. The list goes on and on. You can do it defensively, you can do obviously offense, and you know, you can really, if you get an advanced jab and an educated jab, which is definitely not for this channel, maybe later on down the line, now you're talking. You'll be very, 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 very hard to beat if you get good footwork, boom, a good jab, keep your hands up, keep your chin down. Anyway, really quickly before I go, work that jab, throw hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, keep them straight, keep your elbows in the rib cage, all right? Turn the fist over at the end, look for that nice snap, get good muscle coordination, meaning make sure you're relaxed and make sure your muscles aren't super tense, your shoulders aren't hunched up like this, so that's a negative place to start when you're like this, right? Not only are you burning energy, your muscles are contracting, so they're not gonna be able to be as fluid. That's very important. It's a very high level stuff, but you know, this information, you can do what you want with it at the end of the day. I would suggest you get to the gym, practice, work that jab, keep it straight, go as lightly as you can to get good technique, right? Boom, that's a nice jab. Get that turn, boom, bring it right back to your chin, boom, boom, and throw hundreds and hundreds, and hundreds. You don't want to be out of position when you throw the jab either, or any punch for that matter. Meaning, I don't want to lean and reach over, go too far forward like that. You know, I don't want my stance to be all messed up. I don't want my chin to be up in the air. I want to be right here, so I can defend after. Right? Very important. Anyway, grateful for you guys tuning in. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna get out of here now. It's an absolutely glorious day. I wish you get into the gym, be the best version you can possibly be every single day. You know, hopefully the video made sense. Work that jab. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer as many as I can. Thanks for the request as well for the question. That Japanese guy, I forget his name, but hopefully I answered your questions. And as we work our way out of this park, I'm on my way home, and I'm gonna go upload hopefully this video by today, if not tomorrow, which is Tuesday. But that's it from me, Boxing on the Edge. My name's Henry. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you enjoyed it. It's got to come from the center of the chest though. Peace, I'm out.
Boxing.